Hey there, this is Natalie, and this is part 6 of my reading of the Mushoku Tensei prequel, Old Dragon's Tale. This will cover chapters 11 and 12. Chapter 12 is shorter than usual, so this won't be as long as the other parts, but I'll have part 7 up very soon, so look out for that. As always, please consider subscribing if you like this kind of content. My stats show me that 30% of people watching these readings aren't subscribed, and obviously you don't have to, but it's free and it really helps me out. And hey, you're on part 6, you know you want more. And with that out of the way, let's get straight back into Old Dragon's Tale. Chapter 11, Demon Dragon King. With the criminal handcuffed, I carried him back to Dragon Roar Mountain. He woke up on the way back, but couldn't escape. These cuffs were designed to bind the dragon race. It had the power to suppress and disperse power. Even a demon could do nothing but calm back down with such handcuffs. Surrendered or swirling in another emotion? I don't know, but I was happy to have fulfilled my mission. Anyways, it's a triumphal return. Laplace! It was Szilard who welcomed me with enthusiasm, leading a row of dragon warriors lining up before the large centre entrance of the 8 entrances of Dragon Roar Mountain. No, it's wrong to say that. They weren't warned of the approach. The dragon warriors were simply standing guard at the entrance. Guarding Dragon Roar Mountain was also part of his job. Since I was on a special mission, I didn't forewarn of my return. That's why only Szilard came to greet me. Just like when Dragon God Summer first brought me here. You caught him! He looked in amazement at Saliact, myself, and the one we brought with us. Yes. Well done. And he welcomed me back with a look of joy. Indeed, a warm welcome. The other dragon warriors' emotions boiled over when they heard that the 5 dragon generals' murderer had finally been captured. So many dragon warriors shouting with joy together was a scene I've seldom seen. Laplace, thank you. Thank you, Szilard-sama. However, how he came to the dragon world and his motives for killing Crystal-sama, I was confident that he did it. However, when I thought about it, I realised there was a lack of evidence, lacking proof of his crimes. When I realised that, my voice slowly faltered, coming back so triumphantly, but what if I brought back someone totally innocent? What if it was just an unrelated case of random teleportation between the worlds? Not only that, becoming a victim of my sneak attack. Oh, yeah, that's fine. You could only speak the Dragon God language. I'll take care of his interrogation. Please. I gladly handed him over. After so long and expending so much effort, even destroying an entire mountain to capture him, I was wondering what to do if I was told I caught the wrong person. Moreover, I was tired. I was relieved to hand over the suspect to someone reliable. It's embarrassing to say, but I just wanted to get home quickly and rest. The mission was complete. If it was no good, no good. For now, I just wanted to sleep. The dragon warriors took him away. His face was full of anxiety. I even thought that he was looking to me for help. A friendship that sprouted through the heat of battle? I didn't feel that, but it was the demon race culture to befriend through battle. That was the last moment I saw him. I slept 3 days and 3 nights. After waking up, I ate. The meal with Lunaria-sama was particularly delicious, probably because it was a meal after completion of an important mission. After that, I visited Maxwell first. He was at one of Dragon Roar Mountain's training facilities, scouting for new talented young men. I informed him that I had captured the suspect, as well as the passing of my important subordinates. Hey, you've accomplished your mission, so they probably are at ease now, he said, patting me on my shoulder. After that, I visited Dora-sama. To be honest, I was expecting her to be angry and yell at me. Dora-sama told me to come back with his head, but that didn't happen. The suspect's head and body was still in one piece when I handed him to Szilard. I entered Dora's room, anxious but resolved. But I was surprised. Dora-sama's belly had recovered nicely. Looked like she'd finished spawning safely. A face of serenity now that pregnancy has passed her. I walked up to her and gave her the utmost salute. The aftershock of your battle has reached even here, Dora said calmly. Maybe due to the shock of the battle, I suddenly felt the premature sign for spawning. As she said, she patted an egg beside her. Dragon race eggs are the size of human babies. The pain of giving birth was shared. He was delivered safely but premature. He may grow up immaturely. Despite her words, her hand strokes on the egg were gentle. The Dora-sama before me was not the fierce and prideful Dora-sama of old. It may have been a rude thought. Until then, I'd only ever seen Dora-sama as strong and loyal, but even Dora-sama had a gentle side. Still, leaving that aside. So, how are you? Good. I managed to find the criminal and captured him after a long battle. I see. Well done. Although someone already reported that before you came. Perhaps Maxwell had also heard it in advance as well. No matter how much Dragon Race disregards the passage of time, I had slept for 3 days straight. Maxwell was probably humouring me with his response. If only Dora-sama could do the same. But that obtuseness was part of her charm. I'm sorry for the delay in my report. Don't worry, I heard you fell into a deep sleep. It happens to everyone when their dragon tuki is spent. It must have been a fierce battle. And apologies for not bringing you his head. Dora-sama smiled wryly when I said that. It's fine. His head won't bring back the one we lost. It's a meaningless gesture. Dora-sama stroked her egg again. She laughed abruptly, as if suddenly struck by an idea. Laplace? Yes? Dora lifted up her egg and presented it to me. The egg was wrapped in a soft cloth, looking so fragile. If you don't mind, please give him a name. But isn't he Dora-sama's? Who else? Who else is here? Dora-sama repeated herself and heaved the egg to me. Rather than me, wouldn't it be more appropriate to have Dragon God-sama or the 5 dragon generals name him? I was hesitant to hold it. My hands quivered. Don't worry, dragon race eggs don't break easily. Only after Dora-sama said that did I finally take hold of the egg. The egg was warm. When I held it in my arms, I heard something like a heartbeat. I'd eaten many dragon eggs, but they were cold. I felt completely different from this one. So this is life. How surprising. Have you decided? Normally, shouldn't we wait until we see the child? I don't even know whether it'll be a girl or a boy. It's a man. My child is a man. How certain? I tried to think of a name through my confusion. A name. I had it. I was a man who could do as promised. Perugius. That was the name that came to my mind. Perugius. Yes, Perugius. It's a good name. Feels like he could grow up to be a strong, smart and generous child. His name was Perugius. It was decided that day. Afterwards, I returned to my leisurely everyday life. Wake up, visit Szilard to hear his progress, feed Saliact, and go back to bed. As if I was out of work. My future depended on Szilard's interrogation of the prisoner. If the suspect was really Crystal's killer, I would have accomplished my mission. After that, I'd probably go back to work for Dora-sama. If he was judged innocent, my search would have continued. Rather, in that case, I might be judged incompetent and dismissed from the assignment. However, I was ordered by Dragon God-sama and accepted Dora-sama's request as well. I would have liked to see it to the end. No matter what people thought, I wanted to follow it through to the end. So, like in a daze, I passed each day for the judgment. Those were peaceful days. Sometimes I visited the training ground, but I didn't do any work. My mood was like a death row inmate. A bad premonition. Perhaps I just wasn't used to spending time waiting. Those days were the first and last time in my long life I spent just waiting. No, there were other times. For what reason? Basically, when I was on a mission. Even now, I'm here waiting for my instructions. With those feelings swirling in my heart, time passed slowly. 1 year later, the moment came a year after I caught him. After visiting another world, Dragon God returned. A meeting was held. The agenda was, of course, about the criminal that killed Crystal. Dora-sama and I were both in attendance. Spawning season had ended. She was not responsible for hatching the egg, although she did want to guard the egg until it safely hatched. Her loyalty and dedication to attend an important conference of the 5 Dragon Generals won out. With all other chairs occupied by their owners, I was seated on Crystal's old chair. Report. Under Dragon God's instruction, I stood up and gave the utmost salute, a report of everything I'd done. Thus, while I was travelling around the world, Human God appeared before me and granted me wise counsel. There's a magic eye within me, and I could trace the suspect with it. Using the magic eye, I was able to find a trail and, after a large battle, capture the suspect. As briefly as possible, explaining everything that happened. I thought any more would be a waste of everyone's valuable time. I see. You received advice from Human God. Dragon Sama had a broad smile when he heard those words, showing how high regard he held for Human God. After bringing him back to Dragon Roar Mountain, I handed him over to Sillard Sama to take care of the rest. When I finished, Sillard stood up. My investigation is complete. Sillard picked up a piece of dragon skin parchment and began reciting from it. According to my investigation, the suspect is Necrolia, a blood relative of immortal demon king Necros Lacros and one of the 8 great demon kings. Those words immediately raised a commotion in the meeting. Under the order of the demon god, he teleported to the dragon world to stop the progress of our teleportation research. That's how he caught aim of Dragon General Crystal and plotted his murder. However, due to a flaw in planning, he wasn't able to return to the demon world and was forced to stay. Since then, he'd kept hiding while collecting various necessary materials for his return, until the aforementioned situation. It was Chaos that first grew agitated. Unforgivable! Chaos stood up, slamming his fist on the conference table. The table made a tremendous noise, but did not shatter. Maybe he held back a little. How dare the demons! If they have a problem with us, fight us openly! The gall of ordering an assassination! Chaos's anger was as plain as day. A boiling rage. I was too. Although not as overt as Chaos, I was burning with rage. War! We will hit the demons where they live and show those demon kings their true colours, Chaos exclaimed, but the other 3 were as cool as expected. Sillard, is he still alive? Maxwell asked. His glare was murderous, but his speech was calm relative to hot-blooded Chaos. I killed him. He was so cheery that it tested my patience. Well then, just as well. Maxwell relaxed, but I understood. Reading between the lines, he probably intended to say, if he's alive, let me put a stop to that. Dora-sama stayed silent. However, the rage boiling from her body was not second to Chaos. It felt life-threatening to approach her at the moment. Dora, could you swallow what the demons have done? Chaos, shut up, I feel the same as you. No, surely your rage is greater than mine. Chaos stayed quiet. Dora-sama's anger at the time was such that even Chaos yielded. Her hair-trigger temper was ready to explode. Sillard looked at them and said, Dragon God Sama, we're of one will. Let's invade Demon World immediately, and let them receive the just reward for what 5 Dragon Generals have suffered. However, Dragon God Sama was wise. No, even he was troubled by the situation. Holding his mouth, he was deep in thought. There might be something more far-reaching to this current conversation, something that a fool like I could not fathom. No, it may not be foolish. Even the 5 Dragon Generals did not know much about the demon race, while Dragon God Sama was quite familiar, and particularly with the demon god. That's why Dragon God Sama may have had a different opinion. After a long silence, Dragon God Sama said, We'll not go to war. His conclusion left the Dragon Generals stunned. Why? What's the concern? If we join forces, even they... With a simple raise of the hand, Dragon God Sama silenced the others. He said with a stern tone, One of the 5 Dragon Generals and one of the 8 Demon Kings. It's a wash. An even trade. I couldn't agree. First of all, Crystal died because the demon race attacked. If I didn't find him, or if he'd made better preparations for his return, the criminal would have escaped scot-free. leaving the demons to laugh at the dragon race's pain. How could it be a fair trade? If war breaks out, we will not go unscathed. The demon race is not an easy opponent. Wait. Practice patience. But I'll negotiate with Demon God about this matter. However, we were all servants of Dragon God Sama. If Dragon God Sama ordered it, we could only obey. Understood. Everyone was reluctant. Even Dora-sama, a paragon of loyalty, seemed dissatisfied with the decision, but no one argued in open. Dragon God Sama? What is it, Szilard? Dissatisfied? No, I don't have any complaints. Dragon God says, we obey. This is about Laplace, who had exerted great efforts to bring the criminal to justice. He deserves to be rewarded for his effort. I jumped on those words. Those words were unneeded. Rewards were unnecessary. For me, doing Dragon God's bidding is a matter of course. Rather, I wanted to apologize for taking such a long time. But all the Dragon Generals simply responded with, well done. It took a long time, but as a result I was unable to uncover the demon's plot. There was no reason to decline. Yes, Dragon God thought for a moment, and came to a simple answer. Well then, Laplace, I hereby grant you the title of Demon Dragon King, and status among the 5 Dragon Generals. Thereafter, follow me and assist in our negotiation with the demon race. The decision was a shock to the 5 Dragon Generals, but there was someone even more shocked than the generals. Me. With this, I would be included as the most junior among the 5 Dragon Generals. I couldn't believe it. It was too much to joke about. I couldn't fathom why Dragon God Sama suggested it. I'm against this. It was not me who raised the objection. It was Chaos. Going against Dragon Sama's judgment was a serious act for a Dragon General. However, even he may have reached the limit of his patience. I could understand that feeling, but I didn't concur with his objection, even though if I could do it again, I certainly would. There are others more qualified. Chaos hated the demon race. Even though he did not doubt my loyalty, he could tolerate me as long as I worked for Dragon God Sama's sake. However, for a member of the 5 Dragon Generals to have mixed blood of the demon race was intolerable to him. The same demon blood that plotted the murder of a former member of the 5 Dragon Generals, even if I could help with negotiating with the demon race. Please, reconsider. Chaos looked to the other Dragon Generals for support, but contrary to Chaos's expectations, and mine as well, the others responded more positively. Isn't that fine? Certainly he's young, but his loyalty to Dragon God Sama is beyond reproach, and he's accomplished his mission. And the strength to defeat one of the 8 Demon Kings, Szilard and Maxwell said. Then Chaos looked at Dora-sama. Surely you oppose this? His eyes were asking. For a long time, I had watched him develop. While he still lacks the strength to be worthy of the title Dragon General, we were once inadequate as well. Dragon God Sama's battle banner needs new blood if we're to grow our battle strength, Dora-sama said, turning to me. Laplace, it's an honor. Work harder, now more than ever. Accordingly, Dora-sama didn't object. No, Dora-sama never disliked me in the first place. As Dora said, it was a tremendous honor. My effort and dedication was recognized, and at the same time it may lead to improvement of the relationship with the demons, as Dragon God said. Of course, becoming a Dragon General would benefit Dragon God's unborn child as well. All of the reasons why Dragon God Sama brought me here would be achieved. Although it may be beyond my abilities, I'll do my best. I stood up, crossed my arms before my chest and said, unable to refuse. Thus I became one of the 5 Dragon Generals and became Demon Dragon King Laplace. Having said that, Laplace sighed. Some subtle emotions of weakness and regret. Rostalina grew anxious when she saw him that way. She asked Laplace to tell her his life story on a whim, but maybe she asked for something she shouldn't have. Laplace may have told her something he didn't want to talk about. Laplace-sama, you didn't wish to be one of the 5 dragon generals? No, that's not it. Otherwise I would have refused, even at Dragon God Sama's displeasure. It's just that in reflection, I was over-eager for an honour that I didn't deserve. Why? Didn't Laplace-sama catch the perpetrator? And others recognised your strength? Yes, but the tasks of 5 dragon generals aren't accomplished by strength alone. Laplace's words were vague, and Rostalina didn't understand what he meant. From Rostalina's perspective, Laplace was a godlike existence. More than just power, he was a great and honourable man without equals. But Laplace-sama is great. You even helped me. Are you sure? Yes, I've been saved by Master. It's thanks to you that I can live with my curse. I don't know the other dragon generals, but I thought no one deserved the honour of dragon general more than Master. Rostalina certainly grew up in the long-eared village. However, Rostalina was a strange child. Her magic potential far exceeded others. In her childhood, her power repeatedly ran rampant, destroying the village and killing villagers. So she was cast out of the village. She was abandoned on the edge of a large forest, crying and alone. She didn't have the ability to survive on her own. What awaited her fate was being attacked and eaten by monsters. It was the mysterious Laplace who found her. He uncovered the mystery of Rostalina's body and embedded a magic circle in her, nullifying its overflowing magic. Thanks to that, Rostalina was able to live a peaceful everyday life. I'm pleased to hear that, but as the last of the dragon generals, I do not wish to leave that name in disgrace, Laplace said with wandering eyes, focusing on something far away. The last remaining dragon general. Rostalina thought about the meaning of that phrase, but couldn't appreciate it. She didn't understand, so the only thing she knew to do was ask. Master? But Rostalina couldn't ask. For Laplace, it must be a painful story to tell. The story up until now had mostly gone well. A wild child of the Demon War, educated, found gainful employment, gained recognition by his peers, and became one of the chiefs of the dragon race. It was mostly painless. Thus, she was sure there was only a difficult and painful ending laying ahead. Rostalina wanted to know. No matter how painful, she wanted to know more about Laplace. But if reminiscing caused Laplace to grimace, she would rather put up with not knowing. Master, if there's anything I can do to help, please let me know. I'll do anything in my power to help Master. In that case, no. Laplace stopped himself mid-sentence. Then, with a wry smile, he shook his head. Well, I do have one request. What is it? With a gentle smile, Laplace stroked Rostalina's head. Go to bed for today. You have work tomorrow. Without realising, it was already midnight. Rostalina had lost her drowsiness while listening to his stories. Yes, Master. Maybe I don't have any ability to help. Rostalina stood up from her chair and left the room, full of loneliness. She left the room, returning to her room, and slept. After seeing her off, Laplace headed back to his desk. The talk just now reminded him of something he'd previously forgotten to write down. There laid a single book, a book that summarised the most important things. He didn't put everything he knew down in writing, but it wasn't necessary to either. Just a record of the most important things. Laplace added new pages to the book and wrote, Perugius, a name he had to write down. The description he wrote included details he didn't mention in his story. Not wanting to see Rostalina saddened by what happened, he kept mum on the subject. I have a request for those who read this book. There's a child of the dragon race who does not know his name in this world. Please tell this child his name. I've forgotten many things that happened, but this too was one of my missions. This child has silvery hair and must be a nameless man by now. Please tell him. Your real true name is Perugius. Perugius, son of Dora-sama, the great Dragon King Dora. Thus I recorded here, in case I die before completing my mission," Laplace said as he filled another page of the book, afterwards placing the book in the centre of the bookshelf in the most prominent position. If he had to pass, then whoever came after him would certainly find it. It's Laplace's mission to convey his name, but there's no reason for Laplace to do it personally. Of course, as his godfather, Laplace did wish to convey it directly. Dora-sama. When he muttered the name, the figure who was like a mother to him appeared in his mind. Dora-sama, a teacher, a boss, and a mother. Her last moments were full of remorse. Just remembering that moment gripped his chest tightly. A hatred sprung from the depth of his heart. It was a murderous urge that makes one want to start rampaging. Laplace lived only to clear that remorse. He had to fulfill his mission. Laplace closed the book and sat back in his chair. He felt exhausted. Whenever he went down the mountain and travelled, he was reminded of the time he fought as one of the 5 dragon generals. Perhaps it's time to sleep after a long absence. "Good night, Rostalina," Laplace said, closing his eyes. It was the first time in decades where all the members of the household fell asleep together atop Dragon Roar Mountain. Chapter 12. Dragon and the Woman. Centuries have passed. At Dragon Roar Mountain, the peaceful days continued. For the human race, a century might seem like a very long time, but not for a long-eared race like Rostalina. Nevertheless, it was sufficient time for the young girl to blossom into a full-fledged lady, from a pretty girl to a beauty. However, on the inside, Rostalina remained the same, as innocent as she used to be. It's only natural, living without contact with anyone but Saliact and Laplace. However, her heart was far from peaceful. Her smile had disappeared, and gloom occupied most of her heart. It's only natural. Those stories, ever since Laplace told her about his time as a 5 dragon general, Laplace looked more grim and troubled. On the surface, Laplace was the same, but Rostalina could tell. It's not direct, like angry or feeling grumpy, but an accumulation of negative feelings over time. Moreover, Laplace had been away from home more often these days. He used to be always home. Now he's back only once a month. Rostalina knew the reason, because Laplace is trying to confirm the rumour of Great Demon Emperor Kishirika Kishirisu's resurrection. The Great Demon Emperor was famous enough that even Rostalina was aware of her. She led the demons to war with the human race thousands of years ago. It was a war many centuries before Rostalina's time, a tremendous war that engulfed the entire world. The war ended in the Great Demon Emperor's defeat, but if she was resurrected, then the flames of war would start anew. She doesn't know how Laplace would act. Would he align with the human race or the demon race, or watch from the sidelines? Whatever his decision, no doubt he was busy preparing for it. All that effort, even though the rumour had yet to be confirmed. Rostalina sighed while bringing in the laundry. She knows Laplace is busy. Laplace was always a man on a mission. If there's a great event happening in the world, it's only natural for him to be involved. Only natural that he's too busy for Rostalina. But there was a knot in her heart. What if he's avoiding me? What if he's annoyed that I asked about his time as a dragon general? Laplace said it first. This story was a bad end. No matter how good things are going, it ends up with a sad ending. What she heard so far hasn't been so tragic. A half-dragon, half-demon orphan was found, educated and gained status. Rather, it's a success story. If the story ends here, it'd be a happy ending. But the story hasn't ended. At the end of the day, Laplace lives out at this remote barren place, roams the world, writes his books. Something drastic must have happened. Something decidedly tragic happened to Laplace, but what? Maybe Laplace doesn't want to talk about it, and if I keep asking, he won't come back anymore. If so, Rostalina won't pursue it further. It's fine. Certainly, Rostalina wants to know what came after, the reasons for that pained grimace that Laplace occasionally wears. She wants to know, so she can be his support. but if Laplace has a hard time talking about it, Rostalina doesn't need to know. She can support him even without knowing. Laundry, cleaning. After centuries, even her cooking has improved considerably. It's hard to tell since Laplace says it tastes good to everything, but Saliact sang his praises about her cooking. That was transmitted through Laplace, as Rostalina never learned to speak with Saliact. Anyhow, she tries to help in other ways, like organising the bookshelves. Recently, Laplace would shut himself in the library writing whenever he returned home. He would come out after a while, complaining that he couldn't finish writing everything down. Outside of these simple exchanges, Rostalina and Laplace rarely spoke. "I want you to count on me more. I always made that effort. I'm no longer a child. Oh, Master, I wonder if you'll be back soon. The laundry is finished and the house is cleaned. After lunch, I'll clean Saliact's bed. Don't forget to sprinkle Saliact's scales and droppings around the house. It wards off other dragons from encroaching on his territory while he's away. It's probably fine either way." It'll be dinner time soon, but Rostalina was lost in her sighs. She had no appetite. Then, Rostalina's long ears caught a certain sound, the flapping of a great pair of wings, a sound more powerful and nostalgic than those of red dragons roaming in the neighbourhood. It's Saliact. Laplace is back. "Master!" Without hesitation, Rostalina sprinted out. As if on cue, Laplace was there on Saliact's back. Laplace raised a hand upon seeing Rostalina. Slowly, Saliact feathered his wings and landed on the field before the house, an elegant landing too refined for red dragons. Simultaneously with the landing, Laplace jumped from Saliact. Saliact yawned as if he was tired and went back to the back of the house quietly. He was probably exhausted from the long flight. "I'm home, Rostalina. What's wrong? It's rare for you to greet outside like this." "It's not. I always came out to greet you these days." "Is that right? My apologies." "No, it's fine. So, Laplace-sama, would you like dinner?" Rostalina asked nervously. Laplace often refused when asked. Laplace doesn't eat much. "Oh, yeah. I've been flying around without eating for some time, so I'm rather hungry. Please take care of me." "Yes." "But it seems different today." Rostalina replied cheerfully and rushed to the kitchen. The fire in the furnace hasn't been extinguished yet. Pour water from the water barrel into the pan, and it begins to boil. "Rostalina?" "Yes, what is it, Master?" In response to a call from behind, Rostalina was about to rush over. "Oh no, just listen as you prepare dinner." But she stopped on Laplace's command. With her lips tight, she returned to prepping dinner. "I was able to confirm today that the great demon emperor Kashirika Kashirisu has revived. No, not quite. She revived at least 500 years ago, but just now fully formed. A puppet master of warlike demon lords. Soon, war." Rostalina's hand froze for a second. War will begin soon? Rostalina doesn't really understand. She's never experienced war. Many people died during the Human-Demon War, but Rostalina lives a secluded life on Dragon's Roar Mountain. No war, no matter how great, would affect it here. And it appears that the one pulling the strings behind the war is him. Him? The one I must pursue and defeat. The enemy. Rostalina's hand froze. "I do not know his aims, but I have an obligation to figure it out and stop him. I'll find every trap he lays and destroy it. I will stop him. So I'll take part in the war. I don't know yet which side I'll be on." In front of Rostalina, the water began to boil, but Rostalina couldn't help looking back. Laplace is strong, but he's alone. The 5 dragon generals are no more. The enemy probably killed them. He may die. Laplace could lose. "Master." With an anxious heart, Rostalina left the kitchen. Laplace, as usual, sits in a chair with a neutral expression. However, a shadow cast over his face. We may not meet again. Rostalina had that premonition. "Oh, don't worry, Rostalina. It'll be a while before the war begins. Until then, I'll be with you." Whether or not sensing Rostalina's anxiety, Laplace smiled and said, "So how about some food? I've been hungry for some time now." "Yes." Rostalina returned to the kitchen and resumed cooking as requested. Soup, grilled meat, plus some vegetables. It was completed in no time. However, no flavour could overcome her anxiety. "Yeah, it's delicious today," Laplace ate the meal and said. "But was it really?" "What's wrong, Rostalina? You're pretty quiet today." "Master." "Do you really have to go to war?" Hearing that, Laplace troubled for a moment. However, he soon turned solemn and nodded. "Yes, I have to go, especially if he's involved." "Why?" "Why?" A word that came from somewhere other than Rostalina's convictions. "I shouldn't ask," she thought, yet she did. I see. I forgot. Speaking of which, I only told half the story, so you didn't know." "Let's talk. I'm sure you'll understand if you heard everything. What happened to the Dragon World? No, what happened to the world? And my mission. Why I must fight him." Hearing that, Rostalina gingerly asked, "I thought you don't want to talk about that." "That's not true. It's a painful and sad story, but it's a past that should not be forgotten. If I don't talk about it, I may eventually forget it," Laplace said, seemingly decided on something. "Come, sit, Rostalina, or do you not want to hear it?" Hearing those words, Rostalina swallowed. "I want to hear. What happened in Laplace's life? What happened to Laplace, the Dragon General? I always wanted to know. I won't ask if he won't answer, or if he doesn't want me to know." "Please tell me." Then Rostalina took her appointed seat, the seat next to Laplace, her place beside him. "Okay, let's talk. The final story of the Dragon World." So Laplace began. The final story of Laplace and the 5 Dragon Generals.